Welcome to the bottom of the rabbit hole. Salute to all the Matrix University subscribers for tuning in. You are appreciated. In this video, we are going to discuss the Animatrix episode, A Detective Story. Of course, spoilers will be necessary, so if this is your first time down here, or you want to know everything about the Matrix universe, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss out on any yellow-pilled content. A Detective Story is the 8th episode featured in the Animatrix. It was written and directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, who also directed the Animatrix episode The Kid Story, which was written by the Wachowskis themselves. Watanabe is most well known for his work as the chief director of the anime series Cowboy Bebop, which was the first anime title to be broadcast on Adult Swim in the United States back in 2001. More recently, Watanabe directed the animated video for a song titled More by Flying Lotus, featuring Anderson .Paak. The first time I ever heard a Flying Lotus beat was during one of those short Adult Swim commercial breaks, so there could be a network connection there, but I digress. Both The Kid Story and Detective Story were the only episodes of the Animatrix that featured characters from the Matrix films. The story has a classic detective noir visual feel, with a private investigator named Ash as the main character, and takes place before the events of the first Matrix film. Both desperate for work and bored with the same old routine clients, Ash gets an anonymous call to search for a hacker named Trinity. When Ash demands to know who it is he would be working for, should he accept the job, the caller instructs him to check his bank account, where a deposit has already been made. Unbeknownst to Ash, we find out later that the caller is an agent of the system, which explains how the account was accessed. Ash states he didn't have a good feeling about the case, but couldn't justify turning it down since he was paid in advance. Once he started in on the case, he finds out that 3 other detectives were hired to the same case before him. 1 committed suicide, 1 went missing, and the 3rd went insane. Ash located the one who went crazy. In regard to Trinity, I noticed that both the detective gone insane and Ash refer to Trinity as male. Ash says, quote, "The cops were always one step behind him," which references Neo saying that he thought Trinity was a guy when they first met at the club in the original Matrix film. And Trinity replies, "Most guys do." A subtle example of Watanabe's awareness of maintaining consistency when dealing with the characters from the film. And to that point, Ash is finally able to locate Trinity by using Alice in Wonderland phrases in a hacker chat room, then deciphering an Alice in Wonderland clue that Trinity provides for a rendezvous. The message brings him to a train station, where he successfully catches the right train just in time. On the train, he finally meets Trinity, drawing his gun on her. The Colt Detective Special, which is a 6-shot, carbon steel framed, 2-inch barreled, double action revolver, and the first example of a class of firearms known as snub-nose revolvers. On a side note, in the Trainman and Mobil Av Explained video here on this channel, I mentioned that the Trainman uses the exact same weapon in the Matrix Revolutions. Since this story takes place before the original Matrix film starts, it is certainly possible that it is supposed to be the exact same gun. Trinity draws what looks like a gun on Ash, but instead it turns out to be a small bug removal device, much like the one used to remove the bug from Neo's torso in the first Matrix film. After removing the bug from his eye, he asks Trinity what happened. Trinity then asks him if he had a dream of having an eye exam lately. Ash then has a flashback of agents in a room, again giving the episode consistency with the interrogation scene from the first film, where Neo is bugged by Agent Smith and wakes up in his apartment thinking it was only a dream. Agents then morph onto citizens in a passenger car, and then the screams of the witnesses from the other car alert Ash and Trinity, which leads to a shootout with the agents. Ash immediately decides he will help Trinity, but while trying to escape, an agent attempts to take over the detective's body, forcing Trinity to shoot Ash to prevent the transformation. The shot fatally wounds the detective, but Ash isn't upset with Trinity and even says that he doesn't blame her. Trinity says that she thinks Ash could have handled the truth just before escaping out of the train window. Agents enter the car and find Ash. The detective points his gun at the agents while he lights a cigarette. The agents do not raise their weapons. They know that Ash is mortally wounded and that Trinity has already gotten away. Detective Ash ends the episode saying, quote, "A case to end all cases." So since he dies there on the train, that is why I speculate that the Trainman could be using the very same gun. Recently we discussed Matriculated, which is the 9th and final episode in the Animatrix and probably my favorite, where A Detective Story is probably my least favorite. I do think it's a good story, and I honestly did enjoy it, but if I had to rank them from first to last, it would be number 9 on my list. I do find it interesting that Watanabe was the only director to work with actual characters from the films. Originally, he had the option to work on a Wachowski script or write his own, and he was hired to do the kid story, which was written by the Wachowskis. While on that Animatrix project, the Wachowskis turned down 20 different scripts to fill this spot, so Watanabe ended up submitting his original script for the detective story, and they went with it. As always, if you haven't already seen it, I strongly recommend that you watch the Animatrix for yourself. Like, comment, subscribe, and remember, as one realizes that one is a dream figure in another person's dream, that is self-awareness.